Right.
Come, Bobby. Chop. You have to stand first. Yeah, you put the stand on the top. You need to be around here. How are we doing this? So lift the daddy and the Bobby in the front. Okay. No, it doesn't. Okay. Just stand at the side of this. Stand on that side. Santi. Santi, you go behind the Santi. Yeah, Santi. Yeah.
My humble namaskars to one and all. If it's out, you just wait a moment. So the family just wants to do something first, and then after we can start the viewing. Okay? My humble namaskars. கஞ்சத்தாருள் சண்முக நோக்கியன் கிஷன் தொட்டுளை மாலை சிறந்திரவே வஞ்ச கருவானை பசும் பணிவாதன் தாழ்வாழ்க எமை பொழுதும் என் நெஞ்சம் நீகான் தாழ்வாழ்க உலகெல்லாம் முனிந்து ஓதைக்கு அறியவன் உலகெல்லாம் முனிந்து ஓதைக்கு அறியவன் நில உலாவிய நீர்மலை வேண்டியன் ஆளர்கள் சோதியன் அம்பலத்து ஆடுவான் மலச்சிலம்படி பாற்றி வணங்கவோ ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். My humble namaskar and nandri. The moment they are ready, then you can come and give the fresh care. Thank you. God bless you. The children, you can ask children.
That's it.
My humble pranams, if we can pay attention, those that haven't viewed the faces yet, if you can speed up the viewing, because this caucus will now move to the Madrasa Hall in February. If we can get the pallbearers again, please. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Namah Shivaya.
Lower the feet a little more.
I got what 5 people. Coming out here. So they say same that the family was family was waiting for home model. Waiting for now. Come she's awake for let's see who's going first. Yeah, so ladies on that side.
To go that way.
Yeah. So Cham, we go that side.
So this is the door,
Yeah. Yes, you rotate it. Yeah.
How can the guys come?
I just want to light the lamp and be in readiness. So in 5 minutes, this one to light the lamp.
Those of you all who wish to pay your respects, you can come through on this side of the casket, please. Go around and meet the family on the other side.
Hari ini tu pagi yang mulia
My humble regards. We have newly Munsami that's going to pass a tribute for our late brother, Elen Naidoo. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. For those who may not know me, my name is Yuri, and I'm the proud niece of Elengovan Siva Naidoo. And today I have the honor of being the program director of the proceedings. Thank you all for being here to honor the life and memory of my uncle Siva. And your presence today speaks volumes about the kind of man he was and the love he inspired in all of us. Before we begin, may I kindly request that you switch off all your cell phones, and in respect of Siva's Saivite beliefs, we will be adhering to Saivite traditions during today's proceedings. In accordance with these customs, we kindly request that you refrain from touching the body. Elengovan, affectionately known to many of us as Elen or Siva, was born in Clarewood, Sigamani Road, in his grandparents' house, and from an early age he was a builder, crafting wooden carts in his childhood and later building a successful career, and together with Kruby building a warm, welcoming home. He started off as a telephone operator at the Exchange, and he eventually went on to work at David Whitehead. And he displayed this diligence and loyalty, and many people have spoken about how he went on not just directing his department, but going on and taking on responsibility for several departments. But this was just a stepping stone, because he later branched out to start his own transport business. Siva and Kruby together raised their children, Samay, Sanheeran and Devane, to have the same generous spirit and that commitment to community. His house was not just a building, but a home that was always welcoming, always filled with laughter, warmth, and good food. Today we honor not just Siva's life, but also the love and joy he brought into our lives. I want to read some tributes from the family, from Auntie Kruby, a tribute to my husband. To my beloved husband Siva, Words cannot express how heartbroken I am now that you are gone. You were a kind, humble, caring, and strong-minded man, and when necessary, stern. You were a fighter, and you always fought long and hard till the end. In the same light, I will fight, that our home we build together remains strong and united. I will fight for your hard work, your achievements, and what you believed in. I will continue to make you proud, even if it is the last thing I do. How I wish that I could see that comforting smile on your face. But I know that you are smiling down on us. Thank you for being an exceptional leader, a husband and father to our children. You have led by example and have instilled good values and morals in our children. Today I can stand with my head held high and be proud of how you have raised our children to be kind, compassionate and loving like you. I will always ensure that our children walk the same path that you once did. Thank you for being a loving and caring husband to me and for always fulfilling your duties as a husband with honor, pride and dignity. I will always cherish the special memories we shared together. I love you with all my heart. Best well, my love. With love always, truly. From his children, tribute to Dad. Dads are someone to look up to, someone to admire and respect, someone to learn from, and someone to be proud of. Most of all, someone with whom to share everything this wonderful life has to offer. We are incredibly grateful and blessed that we had all this and much more with our dads. Thank you for all the support, care, and unconditional love you gave us. Thank you for the many sacrifices you made for us. All we are and hope to be, we owe it to you and Mom. And to you, Mom and Dad. The values and teachings you have instilled in us will continue to shine through us. We will always cherish the many memories we shared close to our hearts, and we will always keep your legacy alive. You are a blessing to us, Dad, and will continue to be a blessing to me. We hope and pray that we can walk in your footsteps and continue to make you proud. Love you to the moon and back always and forever. You fought a good fight, rest in eternal peace. With love always, Samay, Santiran, and Devan. And from his two sons-in-laws to my loving father-in-law, I would like to thank you for everything you have done for me and for always treating me like a son. I will cherish all the memories we had together, and I will miss you very much. I will miss our late nights together, our early mornings, and our, it says drinking parties, it really does, but it stuck out and then it says deep conversations. I think it was a mistake, but I'll keep it in. You will be missed and loved dearly. Love you really. To my loving Pa, today I bid farewell to a loving and caring father. It was an honor and privilege to meet you, and I will always remember all the good times we shared together. Thank you for accepting me and for giving me your blessings. You have always treated me like a son and have always been there for me. We will always love and miss you. Love, Ron. Siva was a man who thrived on connection. He loved socializing, hosting, inviting garage parties, relishing in the simple joy of a good meal. These were more than just pastimes to him. They were extensions of his compassionate soul, and they brought people together in celebration. To many of us, he was a protective brother, a loyal friend, a pillar of support, and his love for community is reflected in the messages of support that we have received from far and wide, and we acknowledge receipt of all of those tributes and messages. Thank you.
Om Siva Trichumbam. Osei Wariyallam Ana My honourable Masters, the paradigm that comes in now is most appropriate for Shaddai. This actually reminds us that Valva Vadum Mayum Indu Manavaratinam, meaning life is an illusion, but death is a certainty. Therefore, the great saint told Valva Vadum Mayum Indu Manavaratinam, life is an illusion, death is a certainty. Om Siva Tarchitrum Balam Varvavadum Mayum Ido Manavadu Tinnum Varvavadum Mayum Ido Manavadu Tinnum Pasovadu Piravai Kadal Pasinoi Seida Padida Pasovadu Piravai Kadal Pasinoi Seida Padida Dajadarum Seimantarum Kanamalarodum Dajadarum Seimantarum Kanamalarodum Kishmerure Nindratiru Kedaramanire Kishmerure Nindratiru Kedaramanire Navin Nisai Ariyannodu Tamanyana Sambandan Yava Sivan Adiyagalakku Adiyanadi Tunde Devan Tirukedayade Yuran Murai Seida Pavan Tamil Vallapara Loga Tirupare Valvavadum Mayum Edo Manavadu Tinnum Valvavadum மன்னாவது தின்னும் ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா மற்ற பற்றனைக்கு எந்த நின் தீருப்பாதமே மனம் பாவித்தே பெற்றலும் தீரை தேனிகள் தீர வத கண்ணை வந்து எத்தினே கற்றவா தொழுது ஏற்றும் சீர்கரியூரில் பாண்டிகோ ரோமுதே நற்றவா உன்னை நான் மறேனும் சொல்லும் நாம் நம சிவாயவே. சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா கோடிய பீரை சுடிய கரையூரில் பாண்டிகோ ருமுதே பெரிய பெரும் மாணவர்கள் ஜக பித்தனை பிற புயல்லையே. சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா பாடுளவரை வண்டரை கொன்றித்தாரனே படு பாம்பரே நானே தொண்டன் ஊரன் சொல்லிவை சொல்லுவாக்கு எல்லை தொம்பமே. சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா. ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.
Elen to also read a message aloud for us to remember and celebrate Siva through the experiences of those whose lives he touched.
Ladies and gentlemen, I read a tribute from Train in Australia. For Siva, I want to start off with a quote from a famous poet, Maya Angelou, who once said that a great soul serves everyone all the time. A great soul never dies. It brings us together again and again. Siva, my dear brother, this reminds me of you. Your caring and empathetic nature came to the fore whenever someone needed some help, especially when someone needed to be somewhere but couldn't afford to get there. I am very sure that there are quite a few people who remember you for that. Recently, I was taken by surprise when I met one of his early passengers in Brisbane, Australia, who knew him very well for this. My brother was known by many names, like he was part of a spire. He was fondly known as Siva by family members, friends and neighbors. But to his nephews and nieces, he was referred to as Paul, a name which boomeranged after he used to call my eldest by that name because of his plumpy cheeks. In other circles and at other times, especially when I visited and met his friends and some of his passengers. I heard him being called by Elen or Elen. It was very strange to my ears, but that's when I realized he made a name for himself because of his rapport with his royal passengers, and as someone providing a reliable and dependable transport service. This was not only his livelihood, but his passion for driving. Coming closer to home, Siva was a very protective brother. There were many times unbeknown to me where he would follow me as soon as I left the house to check if I was meeting my then boyfriend, who is now my husband. Needless to say, the report back to the house front was sometimes not very pleasant when I got back. Going back to earlier years, many stories could be told about our sibling rivalry. This may not be a very usual in most households, but between Siva and myself, it was full on. Whether it was during a catching game or hide and seek, or whether it was between our pet chickens, which Ma bought us when we were old enough to look after them. Invariably, Siva always ended up with only one chick when the hens started brooding, and I would be screaming in delight at how many I had had. That often led to a flood of tears. So an ultimate solution was to swap the eggs, as most of the time, both the hens would be going through the incubation period together. Even that resulted in only one chick, very disappointingly. And who was the mastermind behind this, I will never know. Siva's excitement at talking to me on the phone just couldn't be contained. That was one of the most precious moments and will remain pretty special to me forever. That kind of missing each other was further displayed when I announced that I would be visiting soon. Almost everyone in Tonga would become aware of this, and there would be an expectation that I popped over for a meal, or as very often was said, at least for some tea. Well, that didn't happen, but I managed to be introduced to some of his passengers on his rounds in Tonga. I will never forget his beaming smile, filled with utmost pride in those few seconds. Sibling rivalry was real. May you be blessed with eternal peace, dear brother. Until the day we meet again, goodbye. You will always hold a very special place in my heart. Prem. From our father. For Siva from Burma. Siva, your passing was totally unexpected. Being in hospital and receiving the care and treatment gave hope for your recovery, and we were confident of seeing you again. We are still in shock but hold such fond memories of you. You will be remembered for your generosity, kindness, thoughtfulness, and love for people. You considered others' well-being and welfare before yours. You put people before profit in the management of your transport business, always picking people up you spotted walking on the road and dropping them off at their destination, giving them a lift without considering any payment, ever ready to help people whenever you were called upon. We had several conversations about separating business and friendship, but they fell on deaf ears. Your kindness and generosity won and always prevailed. The name Elen was well known throughout Tonga because you shared your generosity with so many. We say farewell to you today, but you will live in our hearts forever. Rest in peace.
I would now like to call upon Lance Taylor, who will share his perspective on his friendship with Siva.
We gathered here today. We're very sad, good to farewell to our dear and beloved Siva, also known as Elen. So, truly an incredible honor, although a difficult one, to stand there before you to speak about this remarkable person who had so much to show to people. They touched the hearts of many. People, you look at a tombstone and you see two important dates. The first date is when the person is born, and the second date is obviously when they pass on. So that's determined by Almighty. But what we have in between is determined by us. How we live on this earth, what we do, and so forth is determined by us. In saying so, Elen fulfilled this. He did every little thing to make people's lives happy. His family, his friends, all his close ones, he made sure that everyone was happy. We actually have a get-together with all our friends during this part of the year. And Elen always coordinated this. He always made sure that, he organized this get-together and made sure everyone was happy. On this occasion, we told him, you just have a rest and we'll, do the rest. And little did we realize that, we were losing. So we actually have a get-together now, but on this very sad platform where we're bidding, farewell to our dear brother. I extend my deepest condolences to the family. Krubi, who's been a target straight to Elen. Sibling, Sibling, and Santiran, who we adore. A whole host of family and friends. We have the utmost respect for all of them. If you can just bow our heads in silence for a minute, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call upon David Reilly to also give tribute.
Good morning to one and all. I stand before you with a heavy heart, paying tribute to a parted friend, a dear husband, a loving father, Elengovan, Naidoo, fondly known as Siva, who was called to rest on the 2nd of August. When we heard of his sudden and untimely passing away, we were all in shock for this hard-working person to be snatched from our midst. Siva came from a prominent family who were pioneers in Gandhinagar. His father was Mr. V.A. Naidoo, who held a senior position at Coca-Cola. His mother was a pillar of strength to his dad. He leaves behind his loving wife, Krubi, 2 daughters, Sime and Devane, his son, Santhira, 2 sons-in-law, and his grandson. He also leaves behind his brother Vivek, 3 sisters, Prem, Jivrani, and Amsi. Siva was a family-oriented person. He cared for his mother after the passing of his father and after Vivek and Prem emigrated to Australia. He was a father figure to his younger sisters, Jivrani and Hamsi, in the younger years. He always aspired to provide the very best for his children. He was very proud of his children, and he instilled good values in them. As for Krubi, she was a pillar of strength to Siva, and he loved it very much. I've known Siva for over 50 years. We grew up in the same neighborhood, went to school, and were best of friends. We had our first cigarette and later our first beer together. Siva was an adventure seeker. I remember us playing ghost tricks on our friends at midnight. Siva learned to drive in his teens. He always loved driving his dad, and I used to accompany him most of the times. He also loved driving some elderly folk in our neighborhood. We made our first road trip to Cape Town in our early 20s, together with his late cousin Clifford, in 1975, using his father's Persia. We had an amazing holiday. Siva played a very important role in my life. Firstly, he introduced me to my wife, and later introduced me to the seller of the property where I presently reside. He had an amazing memory of people's birthdays. He would phone my wife and I on our birthdays every year. He was like a family member to my brothers and sisters, always calling us and visiting us. He was a very humble and a polite person, always willing to help. I remember whenever he was approached for help, he would always say, "Don't worry, I'll make a plan." And he surely made a plan. He was an organizer, and he loved playing an active role. He was a go-to person when it came to socials. When he worked at David White's, he always helped people, and he had a huge circle of friends that he was always in touch. That's when he bought his first minibus transporting workers. He was passionate about transporting workers in church groups. He always assisted people looking for transport, even if it meant just for a day. He had a lot of tolerance and patience with all his passengers, and at times spending the whole day in Durban and waited to pick them up in the evening. He never hesitated to run errands for people in that time. That was his nature, always helping people. The glowing tributes on social media bear testament to that. I remember during the COVID period, he would call us and his friends regularly to see if we were fine, despite him not being in the best of health and whilst caring for Krubi. This was his nature, caring for others. A few weeks ago, we went for a wedding function with our wives, and on our return, we spoke and laughed about the boyhood pranks we played in our younger years. On his last visit recently, he told me that he was not feeling well and that he was experiencing some health problems. We spent a long time chatting, and least did I know that this was going to be his last visit. Siva faced many challenges and had to cross many hurdles to be the person he was, determined and forthright. His philosophy was always help and serve people. I, on behalf of all the families and friends pray that the departed soul of our dear friend and father rest in peace, and God grant the members of the bereaved family, especially Krubi, Sibling, Santiran, and Devine, the strength and courage to bear this irreparable loss. Goodbye to you, my trusted friend. Go well. I really miss you until we meet again. Thank you.
Om Siva Sibling Parinendu ooற்றும் தாயினும் சால பரிணிந்து பாவிய உடையது ஊனி ஊருக்கி உள்ளொளி பெருக்கி உழப்பில ஆனந்தமாயே தேனினை சுருக்கும் புறும் திறந்து செல்வனே சிவபெருமானே யானுனை துறந்து சித்தனை பிரித்தேன் எங்கதுணருள்வதும் நீயே அம்மையே அப்பா அப்ப ஒப்பிலமணியே அன்பினன் வீழந்த ஆரமுதே அன்பினன் வீழந்த ஆரமுதே அம்மையே அப்ப அம்மையே அப்ப ஒப்பிலமணியே அன்பினன் வீழந்த ஆரமுதே அன்பிலன் வீழந்த ஆரமுதே பொய்யமே பெருகி பொய்யமே பெருகி புலந்தனை சுருக்கும் புலந்தனை புலையன தனக்கு சென்னையாய சிவபதம் அளித்த செல்வமே சிவபெருமானே எம்மையே உன்னை எம்மையே உன்னை சித்தன பிடித்தேன் எங்கதுணருள்வதும் இனியே அம்மையே அப்பா அம்மையே அப்பா ஒப்பிலமணியே அன்பினன் வீழந்த ஆரமுதே அன்பினன் வீழந்த ஆரமுதே ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம் பித்தாய் பிறை சுடி பெருமானே அருள பித்தாய் பிறை சுடி பெருமானே அருள எத்தான் மறவாதே நினைக்கின்றேன் மன துணை எத்தான் மறவாதே நினைக்கின்றேன் மன துணை வைத்தாய் பெண்ணை தென்பால்வனை நல்லூர் அருள் துறையுள் அத்தா உனக்கு ஆளாயினே அலையலாமே அத்தா உனக்கு ஆளாயினே அலையலாமே கடல் எதிர் கரை கலை திரை கையா பரோர் புக எதிர்த்திக பன்மாமணியொண்டே சீரோர் பெண்ணை தென்பார் பெண்ணை நல்லூர் அருள் குறையுள் ஆரூர் எப்பள் பெருமா குல அல்லேயலாமே பித்தாய் பிறை சுடி பெருமானே அருள எத்தான் மறவாதே நினைக்கின்றேன் மனத்துள்ளே. ஓம் சிவா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். சிவனே உன்னை நான் மறவாக நின்றேன் ஐயனே நடராஜனே உந்தன் வார்த்தை மோகோதம் உன் நாமத்தை பாட சிவனே நம்பினேனே. சிவனே உன்னை நான் மறவாக நின்றேன் ஐயனே நடராஜனே உந்தன் வார்த்தை மோகோதம் உன் நாமத்தை பாட சிவனே நம்பினேனே. சிவ 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 சிவனேவா சிவ 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 சிவனேவா சிவ 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 சிவனேவா சிவ 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 சிவனேவா. சிவ பெருமான் கிருபை வேந்தன் அவன் திருவடி தர வேண்டும். சிவ பெருமான் கிருபை வேந்தன் அவன் திருவடி தர வேண்டும். அவரை மிகும் அருணருளாலே காத்திட வேண்டும் அப்பா. சிவனே உன்னை நான் மறவாக நின்றேன் ஐயனே நடராஜனே உந்தன் வார்த்தை மோகோதம் உன் நாமத்தை பாட சிவனே நம்பினேனே. சிவ 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 சிவனேவா சிவ 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 சிவனேவா சிவ 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 சிவனேவா சிவ 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 சிவனேவா. தொல் உலகம் அது எல்லாம் உயர்கிறவே சுகமாக வாக வேண்டும். தொல்லுலகம் அதையெல்லாம் உயர்கிறவே சுகமாக வாக வேண்டும். எங்கும் நிறைந்த சிவனும் அருளாலே காத்திட வேண்டும் அப்பா. எங்கும் நிறைந்த சிவனும் அருளாலே காத்திட வேண்டும் அப்பா. சிவனே உன்னை நான் மறவாக நின்றேன் ஐயனே நடராஜனே உந்தன் வார்த்தை மோகோதம் உன் நாமத்தை பாட சிவனே நம்பினேனே. ஓம் சிவா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.
Victor Elen to speak on behalf of Kruby and Siva's family.
To those of you that do not know me, I'm Victor Elen. My wife Cody is the cousin of Kruby. Good afternoon to the officiating priest, family and friends. We are gathered here today in sadness as we pay our last respects to Siva. Our sincere condolences to the bereaved family. Kruby, Simei, Santiran, Devane, sons-in-law, Elen, and Ron, grandson, Shariah, and to the brothers and sisters of Siva. There are no words to describe how sorry and sad we are for your loss. Siva was one of the most sincere and humble person that I have known. Many of us would have experienced his gentleness and his kindness. In all the years that I've known him, I did not see or experience any malice or anger of any kind. That was not a part of his nature. There were no pretensions with Siva. What you saw is what you got. Siva did not draw a distinction between master or servant. He treated everybody as equals. This trait of his I observed over the years. This facet of his life speaks volumes about Siva as a person. He lived life as it should be. Siva was also a very caring person. This we saw not only with his immediate family, but with others also. Many are the occasions when he would phone or visit family and friends when they were not well. Now many of us will miss those chats and visits that Siva made. We have fond memories of all the family gatherings, especially those at La Mercy Beach. The champagne breakfasts were memorable. These were some of the most exciting times, and Siva was a part of all of this. Siva was family orientated. He was a loving husband, a kind and caring father, and a doting grandfather. Even through tough and challenging times, he provided for them. I am certain that Krubi and the children will attest to this. We also remember Siva's total devotion to Krubi during her illness. Even though he was not in the best of health in recent times, Siva had the joy of walking Devonay down the aisle. That was a beautiful moment to behold. He was so very, very happy on that occasion. What struck me was the remarkable strength and courage Siva showed in the many challenges and difficulties that he encountered in life, and most recently so. We all knew that Siva was not well, and over the last months we noticed that. But now he's in a better place. However, that does not take away the pain and the sadness of losing a loved one. May his soul rest in eternal peace. I pray that God comforts and strengthens the family during these difficult times. I thank you.
My humble namaskars. With the driver of NJ 48856, we caught an obstruction for some of your art if we move your vehicle. Om Siva Trishtumbam. Om சோற்றுனை வேதியன் சோதிவானவன் போற்றுனை தீருந்தடி போர்ந்த கை தொட சோற்றுனை வேதியன் சோதிவானவன் போற்றுனை தீருந்தடி போர்ந்த கை தொட காற்றுனை போற்றியோ கடலையும் பாற்றினும் நாற்றுணையாவது நாம சிவாயவே மாப்பினை தழுவிய மாதுர்பாகத்தன் போப்பினை தீருந்தடி போர்ந்த கை தொட நாப்பினை தழுவிய நாம சிவாய பற்று ஏற்றவன் தமக்கு ஈசொன்கண்ணில்லையே சோற்றுனை வேதியன் சோதிவானவன் போற்றுனை தீருந்தடி போர்ந்த கை தொட ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தோளுடைய செவியன் விலையேறியோ தூவன் மடிசூடி தோளுடைய செவியன் விலையேறியோ தூவன் மடிசூடி காடுடைய சுடலை குடி பூசியன் உள்ளம் கவல்வன் ஏருடைய மலரான் முளை நாள் பணிந்தேதே அருள் செய்த ஏருடைய மலரான் முளை நாள் பணிந்தேதே அருள் செய்த பீடுடைய பிரமாபுரதேவிய பெம்மாள் நிபந்தம் தோளுடைய செவியன் விலையேறியோ தூவன் மடிசூடி தோளுடைய செவியன் விலையேறியோ தூவன் மடிசூடி சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.
I think something that's come up quite often in all of these tributes is how much Uncle Siva loved connecting with others. And he loved speaking to others, whether on the phone or visiting them in person. And in fact, a lot of my earlier memories were of him speaking on the phone. In fact, he was the first person who introduced our family to cell phones. I distinctly remember us being on a family holiday. The drinks were flowing, the crabs and crayfish were literally crawling. And we wanted to invite others to join in our fun. And that's something that he always did, wanted to bring people together. But we didn't have a landline telephone inside. So here comes Uncle Siva to our rescue. He pulls up this snazzy fold-up phone. And that was the first time I'd seen a cell phone. And we all asked him, how does it work? And so he felt very important that in that moment to solve our problem, that some of his cousins weren't there. But unfortunately it was raining or something, the cell phone reception was bad and we couldn't get the call through. But I don't know what he did eventually. He came up with a solution. Whether he sent a smoke signal, he sent a pigeon, I don't know. But within a short while, our holiday home was bursting at the seams. There was an atmosphere of joy, there was laughter, and it was just a good night, and it remains a cherished memory. I'd like to now call upon Jivarani Munsami, his sister, who will share her cherished memories as a sibling.
Vanakkam, good afternoon, dear family and friends. I had never thought that a day like today would come so soon. Our brother-in-law, uncle, Siva, Elen, and you heard Buri, Mama, had a magnetic personality with an infectious smile. You've heard several people talk about the laugh he had. Always smiling, always wanting to help people. Sometimes to the extent I used to get angry with him and say, worry about yourself before you worry about others. One of my earliest memories of you, Siva, is you building a cart and me being your first passenger together with my dog Fido. I would get a ride down the slopes in Gandhinagar near home, very often toppling, both of us toppling from the cart and getting bruises on our knees. I suppose this is where your love for driving and taking passengers started. Often my brother and I would get into fights, and he would often resort to calling me ugly names, funny names. Because my name is Jeevarani and Amsi couldn't say Jeevarani, she used to call me Nani. So he made a song, a rhyme out of Nani. And I would retaliate by being equally mean to him. Siva loved his food and people. We've heard about this. A quality that he inherited from Amma and Daddy, our parents. Coming home to Gandhinagar was always a warm feeling. And he, together with my sister-in-law Krubi and their children, and now their spouses, contributed to making this home a warm, welcoming home. No one went home without having something to either eat or drink. And I think many of you can attest to that as well. Siva, it is not goodbye. So long, my brother. Take a rest. You are no longer afflicted by pain and fear of what may be going wrong. Enjoy your time with Amma and Daddy and all our loved ones. You will always be alive in our thoughts and in our hearts. Rest well, dear brother. Take care till we meet again.
We married in community of property and came to testify about all of the roses.
Om Siva Krishnan Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara 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 Matrupatrannike Yandanik Tiruppadame Manum Pavite Petralam Pirai Teninal Tira Vadatamai Vanda Yetine Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Kachava Kurudu Yetum Sikare Yuril Pandiko Rumudi Natrava Unai Namare Kinum Solum Nam Nama Shivayave Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Kodiye Pirai Sudiye Karayuril Pandiko Rumudi Peniye Peru Manapanjaka Pitanai Pira Puyalaye Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Kodiye Pirai Sudiye Karayuril Pandiko Rumudi Peniye Perumana Panjaka Pitanai Pira Puyalaye Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Panulavai Vandai Undrai Karene Padapamvare Nanene Tundan Uran Sollivai Sollavakayallai Kumbame Panulavai Vandai Undrai Karene Padapamvare Nanene Tundan Uran Sollivai Sollavakayallai Kumbame Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara 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 Om Siva Karichitambalam Patedan Pade Mate Paramane Parama Yogi Yedina Bhakti Saye Yedini Igare Veda Murte Mudalvai Tillai Ambadadu Gindre Akavan Adal Kanman Adiyene Mande Vare Manunda Mala Manum Malai Visai Manni Nanum Vinunda Thirurum Virumbina Kana Mata Tinunda Thiruvarmika Thilai Sitrambalatte Panunda Padalodum Paramani Adumare Patena Pade Mate Paramane Parame Yogi Yedina Bhakti Saye Yenayeni Igare Veda Om Siva Karichitambalam Kadule Namachivaya Kadule Namachivaya Adina Chapudate Kandavelathamurtha 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. கடவுளே நம சிவாய. நீதான் காத்தருள் வேணும் ஐயா. கடவுளே நம சிவாய. நீதான் காத்தருள் வேணும் ஐயா. நம சிவாயா ஓம். 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 நமமே சிவாய நம ஓம். சிவாய நம ஓம். சிவாய நம ஓம். சிவமே சிவாய நம ஓம். சிவாய நம ஓம். சிவாய நம ஓம். சிவமே கடவுளே நம சிவாய. நீதான் காத்தருள் வேணுமய. சோமசுந்தரன சிவசங்கரனே சிவ சிதம்பரனே சிவமே. சோமசுந்தரன சிவசங்கரனே சிவ சிதம்பரனே சிவமே. गौरी शंकर शामु शिवा प्रभु यतुणै परमेश्वरने. गौरी शंकर शामु शिवा प्रभु यतुणै परमेश्वरने. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम शिवाय. तिरुचित्रंबरम.
I would like to invite you, if you haven't already, to come up and pay your last respects. Feel free. I'm going to read a tribute from the family, from Auntie Krubi, to my beloved husband Siva. Words cannot express how heartbroken I am now that you are gone. You are a kind, humble, caring, strong-minded man, and when necessary, stern. You were a fighter, and you always fought long and hard till the end. In the same light, I will fight for the things in life and that we work together for, that our home that we build together remains strong and united. I will fight for your hard work, achievements, and what you believed in. I will continue to make you proud, even if it is the last thing I do. How I wish that I could see that comforting smile on your face, but I know that you are smiling down on us. Thank you for being an exceptional leader, husband, and father to our children. You have led by example and have instilled good values and models in our children. Today, I can stand with my head held high and be proud of how you have raised our children, to be kind, compassionate, and loving like you. I will always ensure that our children walk the same path that you once did. Thank you for being a loving and caring husband to me and for always fulfilling your duties as a husband with honor, pride, and dignity. I will always cherish the special memories we shared together. I love you with all my heart. Rest well, my love. With love always, truly. his children, Sibling, Santiran, and Devane. Dads are someone to look up to, someone to admire and respect, someone to learn from, and someone to be proud of. Most of all, someone with whom to share everything this wonderful life has to offer. We are incredibly grateful and blessed that we had all of this and much more with our dad. Thank you for all the support, care, and unconditional love you gave us. Thank you for the many sacrifices you made for us. All we are and hope to be, we owe it to you, Mom and Dad. The values and teachings you have instilled in us will continue to shine through us. We will always cherish the many memories we shared close to our hearts, and we will always keep your legacy alive. You are a blessing to us, Dad, and will continue to be a blessing to me. We hope and pray that we can walk in your footsteps and continue to make you proud. Love you to the moon and back, always and forever. You fought a good fight, rest in eternal peace. With love always, Samay, Santiran, and Devane. His two sons-in-laws. Today I bid a farewell to my loving pa, a caring father. It was an honor and privilege to meet you, and I will always remember all the good times we shared together. Thank you for accepting me and for giving me your blessings. You have always treated me like a son and been there for me. We will always love and miss you. Love, Ron. And from Nirem, I would like to thank you for everything you have done for me and for always treating me like a son. I will cherish all the memories we had together, and I will miss you very much. I will miss our late nights together, our early mornings, and our deep conversations. You will be missed and loved dearly. Love, Nirem. I'd like to also make an announcement that the proceedings will go to the Clare Estate Crematorium at 1:45. So you have up until 1:30 if you haven't come through to pay your last respects. I also want to call Elen to reshare the tributes that were sent in from abroad, because some of you may have missed it and some beautiful sentiments were shared.
Traumatic prayer. I want to start off with a quote from a famous poet, Maya Angelou, who once said that a great soul serves everyone all the time. A great soul never dies. It brings us together again and again. Siva, my dear brother, this reminds me of you. Your caring and empathetic nature came to the fore whenever someone needed something, especially when people needed to be somewhere but couldn't afford to get there. I'm very sure that quite a few people will remember you for that. Recently, I was taken by surprise when I met one of his early passengers in Brisbane, Australia, who knew him very well for this. My brother was known by many names, like he was part of a spy ring. He was fondly known as Siva by his family members, friends, and neighbors. But to his nephews and nieces, he was referred to as Olu, a name which boomeranged became his after he used to call my eldest by that name because of his plumpy cheeks. In other circles and at other times, especially when I visited and met his friends and some of his passengers, I heard him being called by Elen or Elen. It was very strange to my ears, but that's when I realized that he had made a name for himself because of his rapport with his loyal passengers and as someone providing a reliable and dependable transport service. This was not only his livelihood, but his passion for driving. Coming closer to home, Siva was a very protective brother. There were many times, unbeknown to me, he would follow me as soon as I left the house to check if I was meeting my then boyfriend, who is now my husband. Needless to say, the report back to the house front was sometimes not very pleasant when I got back. Going back to earlier years, many stories could be told about our sibling rivalry. This may not be very usual in most households, but between Siva and myself, it was full on. Whether it was during a catching game, hide and seek, or whether it was between our pet chickens, which Mom bought for us when we were old enough to look after them. Invariably, Siva always ended up with one chick when the hens started brooding, and I would be screaming in delight at how many I had had. That often ended in a flood of tears, so an ultimate solution was to swap the eggs, as most of the time, both hens would be going through their incubation period together. Even that resulted in only one chick, very disappointingly. And who was the mastermind behind this, I will never know. Siva's excitement at talking to me over the phone just couldn't be contained. That was one of the most precious moments and will remain to be special to me forever. That kind of missing each other was further displayed when I announced that I would be visiting soon. Almost everyone in Tonga would become aware of this, and there would be an expectation that I popped over for a meal, or as very often was said, at least for some tea. Well, that didn't happen, but I managed to be introduced to some of his passengers on his round in Tonga. I will never forget his beaming smile, filled with utmost pride in those few seconds. Sibling rivalry was no more. May you be blessed with eternal peace, dear brother. Until we meet again, goodbye. You will always hold a very special place in my heart. Prem. From Bala. Siva, your passing was totally unexpected. Being in hospital and recovering, the care and treatment gave hope for your recovery, and we were confident of seeing you again. We are still in shock, but hold such fond memories of you. You will be remembered for your generosity, kindness, thoughtfulness, and love for people. You considered others' well-being and welfare before yours. You put people before profit in the management of your transport business, always picking up people you spotted walking on the road and dropping them off at their destination. Giving them a lift without considering any payment, ever ready to help people whenever you were called upon. We had several conversations about separating business and friendship, but they fell on deaf ears. And your kindness and generosity won, and always prevailed. The name Elen was well known throughout Tonga because you shared your generosity with so many. We say farewell to you today, but you will always live in our hearts forever. Rest in peace.
I would please like to ask the driver of NJ 51825, a black BMW, to please remove their vehicle. I'd like to say that tribute was from our aunt and uncle in Australia. They couldn't make it here due to some health concerns, but really expressed their wishes and the memories that they shared. I want to call upon Kamana to share a tribute by our cousins that also couldn't be here from Australia.
This is a message from Siva's Spirit Power in saying, to our aunties, uncles and cousins, We are sending you all our love from London and Melbourne and want you to know that you're in our thoughts and prayers. This is a somber time for our family, but also a time to celebrate Uncle Siva. So we thought we would first share the things that come to mind when we think of him. First, his laugh. You always heard Uncle Siva before you actually saw him. We remember Uncle Siva as children growing up in South Africa with memories of his taxi business, but more importantly, the love he showed for his family. And then there's the sheer number of people Uncle Siva knew in Tonga, many of whom I'm sure are present today to pay their respects. Silvers recalls that whenever visiting Tonga, he wrote to wherever he had met. He would introduce Silvers as his niece from London, VA's daughter, which then prompted a 5-minute chat about how they knew our dad. We hope.
Om Siva. Parindu paviyanudaya uniye uruki ulluli peruki ulapila anandamaye தேனினை சொருக்கும் புறும் புறும் திறந்து செல்வமே சிவபெருமானே யான் உனை பொருந்த சித்தன பிரித்து எங்க உணர்வதும் இனியே அம்மையே அப்பா அம்மையே அப்பா ஒப்பிலமணியே அன்பிலன் விளந்து ஆரமுதே அன்பிலன் விளந்து ஆரமுதே அம்மையே அப்பா அம்மையே அப்பா ஒப்பிலமணியே அன்பிலன் விளந்து ஆரமுதே அன்பிலன் விளந்து ஆரமுதே பொய்யமே பெருகி பொய்யமே பெருகி பொழுந்தனை சுருக்கும் புலந்தனை புலையன தனக்கு செம்மையாய சிவபதுமளித்த செல்வமே சிவபெருமானே எம்மையே உன்னை எம்மையே உன்னை சித்தன பிரித்தே எங்கதும் அருள்வதும் இனியே அம்மையே அப்பா அம்மையே அப்பா ஒப்பிலமணியே அன்பிலன் விளந்து ஆரமுதே அன்பிலன் விளந்து ஆரமுதே ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். உன்னர் மேனியனே புலைத்தோலை அறை கசைத்து பொன்னர் மேனியனே புலைத்தோலை அறை கசைத்து மின்னா செஞ்சதை மின்னா செஞ்சதை விலை ஒன்றை அணிந்தவனே மண்ணே மாமணியே மழப்பாடியுள் மாணிக்கமே மண்ணே மாமணியே மழப்பாடியுள் மாணிக்கமே அண்ணே உன்னை உன்னை யாரை நினைக்கே பொன்னர் மேனிய பலம் ஓசை ஒளியெல்லாம் ஆனாய் நீயே உலகுக்கு ஒருவனாய் நின்றாய் நீயே உலகுக்கு ஒருவனாய் நின்றாய் நீயே உலகுக்கு ஒருவனாய் நின்றாய் நீயே ஓசை ஒளியெல்லாம் ஆனாய் நீயே ஓசை ஒளியெல்லாம் ஆனாய் நீயே உலகுக்கு ஒருவனாய் நின்றாய் நீயே உலகுக்கு ஒருவனாய் நின்றாய் நீயே வாச மலரெல்லாம் வாச மலரெல்லாம் ஆனாய் நீயே வாச மலரெல்லாம் ஆனாய் நீயே மலையாய் மருகனாய் நெழுறாய் நீயே பேச பெரியதும் இனியாய் நீயே பிராணாயதி என்னேன் வைத்தாய் நீயே பேச பெரிதும் இனியாய் நீயே பிராணாயதி என்னேன் வைத்தாய் நீயே தேச விலைக்கெல்லாம் தேச விலைக்கெல்லாம் ஆனாய் நீயே தேச விலைக்கெல்லாம் ஆனாய் நீயே திருவயலுக்கு செம்போ சோதி திருவயலுக்கு செம்போ சோதி திருவயலுக்கு செம்போ சோதி ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara. மற்றுப்பற்றென்னைக்கு எந்த தீருபாதமே மனம் பாவித்தேன் பெற்றலும் பீரை தேனில் பீர பத தன்மை வந்து ஏத்தினே Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara Shiva, Shankara. கற்றவா தொழுது ஏற்றும் சீர் கரையூரில் பாண்டி கொருமுதியே நற்றவா உன்னை நாம் மறக்கிடும் சொல்லும் நாம் நம சிவாயவே சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா கோணிய பீரை சுடிய கரையூரில் பாண்டி கொருமுதியே பெரிய பெரும் மாணவன் ஜக பித்தனை பிறப்பு எல்லையே சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சங்கரா சிவ Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara பானுலாவரை மண்டரை கொன்றைத்தாரே படமாம்பரே நானே கொண்டு ஊரன் சொல்லிவை சொல்லுவாக்கு இல்லை தொம்பமே சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா சிவ சங்கரா 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 ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஓம் சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். தோடுடைய செவியன் விடையேறியும் தூவன் மடிசூடி தோடுடைய செவியன் விடையேறியோ தூவன் மடிசூடி காடுடைய சுடைலை குடி பூசியன் உள்ளம் கவக்கல்வன் ஏருடைய மலரான் முளை நான் பணிந்தே அருள் செய்த ஏருடைய மலரான் முளை நான் பணிந்தே அருள் செய்த வீடுடைய பிரமபுரமே பெம்மான் இவன் அன்றே வல்ல முனிய ஒய்கே அளவைய அருணறிய மறை வல்ல முனிய பொய்கே அளவைய பெருணறிய பிரமாபுரம் மேவிய பெம்மான் இவன் கண்ணை ஒரு நெறிய மண்பை துணை ஞான சம்பந்தர் யுரை செய்த ஒரு நெறிய மனுமை துணை ஞான சம்பந்தர் யுரை செய்த திருநெறிய தமிழ் வல்லவள் தோல்வினை கீதே இளைதாமே தோடுடைய செவியன் வீடையேறியோ தூவன் மடிசூடி தோடுடைய செவியன் வீடையேறியோ தூவன் மடிசூடி சிவனே உன்னை நான் மறவாக நின்று ஐயனே நடராஜனே உந்தன் வாற்றை மோதும் உன் நாமத்தை பாட சிவனே நம்பினேனே சிவனே உன்னை நான் மறவாக நின்று ஐயனே நடராஜனே உந்தன் வாற்றை மோதும் உன் நாமத்தை பாட சிவனே நம்பினேனே சிவ 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 சிவதேவா 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 தொல் உலைகள் அதையெல்லாம் உயர்கிறவே சுகமாக வாக வேண்டும். தொல்லுலைகள் அதையெல்லாம் உயர்கிறவே சுகமாக வாக வேண்டும். எங்கும் நிறைந்த சிவன் உன்னருளாலே காத்திட வேண்டும் அப்பா. எங்கும் நிறைந்த சிவன் உன்னருளாலே காத்திட வேண்டும் அப்பா. சிவனே உன்னை நான் மறவாக நின்றே ஐயனே நடராஜனே. உந்தன் வார்த்தை முகோதும் உன் நாமத்தை பாட சிவனே நம்பினேனே. சிவ 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 சிவனேவா. 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 நெஞ்சக்கணக்களும் நிகழ்ந்து உருக கஞ்சத்தருள் சண்முக நோக்கிய கிஷன் தொத்துளை மாலை சிறந்திரவே வஞ்சு கருவானை பசும் படிவாய். ஆடும் படிவேலன சேவல் என ஆடும் படியை படியாங் அருள்வாய். தேவும் கயமா முகணம் திரையொல் தாண்டும் கனியானை சகோதரனே. முருகன் குமரன் புகழெந்த முகந்து உருகும் வேல் கண்டு என்ற பெருமானே. ஓம் நம சிவாய வாழ்க நாடன் தாழ்வாக. எமை பொழுதும் என் நெஞ்சல் நீகாந்தாவாக. ஓம் நம சிவாய. ஓம் நம சிவாய. ஓம் நம சிவாய. ஓம் சிவா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். என் அன்புடன்
I'd like to remind you, in respect of Siva's Saivite beliefs, we will be adhering to Saivite traditions during today's proceedings. So in accordance with these customs, we request all attendees to please refrain from touching the body. We will be proceeding to the Clear Estate Crematorium at 1:45, so if you have not paid your respects, you are welcome to come up. And I'd like to call upon David Reddy to give his tribute, a long-standing friend of Siva.
Good day. I am David Reddy. I am giving you a speech again to the benefit of those that were not here. I stand before you with a heavy heart, paying tribute to our parted friend, a dear husband, and a loving father, Elengovan Naidoo, fondly known as Siva, who was called to rest on the 2nd of August. When we heard of his sudden and untimely passing away, we were in shock for this hard-working person to be snatched from our midst. Siva came from a prominent family who were pioneers of Ganinagar. His father was Mr. V.A. Naidoo, who held a senior position at Coca-Cola. His mother was a pillar of strength to his dad. He leaves behind his loving wife, Krubi, 2 daughters, Seme and Devane. His son, Sampiran, 2 sons-in-law, and his grandson. He also leaves behind his brother, Vivek, 3 sisters, Prem, Jivrani, and Amsi. Siva was a family-oriented person. He cared for his mother after the passing of his father
and after Vivek and Prem immigrated to Australia. He was a father figure to his younger sisters Jivrani and Hamsi in the younger years. He always aspired to provide the very best for his children. He was very proud of his children and instilled good values in them. As for Krubi, she was a pillar of strength to Siva, and he loved her very much. I have known Siva for over 50 years. We grew up in the same neighborhood, went to school together, and were best of friends. We had our first cigarette and later our first beer together. Siva was an adventure seeker. I remember us playing ghost tricks on our friends at midnight. Siva learned to drive in his teens. He always loved driving his dad, and I used to accompany him most of the times. He also loved driving for some elderly folk in our neighborhood. We made our first trip to Cape Town in our early 20s, together with his late cousin Clifford, in 1975 using his father's Peugeot. We had an amazing holiday. Siva played a very vital role in my life. Firstly, he introduced me to my wife, and later introduced me to the seller of the property where I reside today. He had an amazing memory of remembering people's birthdays. He would phone my wife and I on our birthdays every year. He was like a family member to my brothers and sisters, always calling or visiting us. He was a humble and polite person, always willing to help. I remember whenever he was approached for help, he would always say, "Don't worry, I'll make a plan." And he surely made a plan. He was an organizer, and he loved playing an active role. He was a go-to person when it came to socials. When he worked at David Whitehead's, he always helped people, and he had a huge circle of friends that he was always in touch with. That's when he bought his first minibus, transporting workers. He was passionate about transporting workers and church groups. He always assisted people looking for transport, even if it meant just for a day. He had a lot of tolerance and patience with all his passengers, and at times spending the whole day in Durban and waited to pick them up in the evening. He never hesitated to run errands for people in that time. That was his nature, always helping people. The glowing tributes on social media bear testament to this. I remember during the COVID period, he would call us and his friends regularly to see if we were fine, despite him not being in the best of health, and also whilst caring for Krubi. This was his nature, caring for others. A few weeks ago, we went for a wedding eve function with our wives, and on our return, we spoke and laughed about the boy pranks we played in our younger years. On his last visit recently, he told me that he was not feeling well, and he was experiencing some health issues. We spent a long time chatting, and least did I know that this was going to be his last visit. Siva faced many challenges and had to cross many hurdles to be the person he was, determined and forthright. His philosophy was help and serve people. I, on behalf of all the families and friends, pray that the departed soul of our dear friend, husband and father, rest in peace, and that God grant the members of the bereaved family, especially Krubi, Sime, Santiran, and Devane, the strength and courage to bear this irreparable loss. Once again, goodbye to you, my trusted friend. Go well. I will really miss you.
until we meet again. Thank you.
As we remember Siva, let us remember his brilliant smile, his infectious laughter, and the way he always went the extra mile to help others. His memory lives on in each of us, and his legacy of love and generosity continues to inspire. At the conclusion of today's service, the procession will leave for the Clare Estates crematorium at 1:45. But before we part, I would like to extend our deepest gratitude to the many nurses and doctors at Victoria Hospital, specifically Dr. M.A. Colin Deville and Dr. Rajan Woodley for their care and dedication. We would also like to thank the Tonga Funeral Services for their support and assistance in taking our beloved Mama to his final resting place. Our uncle Vix Naidoo travelled here from Australia late last night, and his children have sent a poem as a his parting words for us today, and this will be read by Rowella Mansani.
Good afternoon, everyone. The poem is entitled He Is Gone by David Hawkins. You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he is lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live for yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry, close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you can do what he would have wanted. Smile, open your eyes, love, and move on. Thank you.
proceeding to the Clear Estate crematorium at 1:30. So if you have not paid your last respects, we invite you to come out before the Brahmin does the final rites. We'd like to thank our cousins for sharing that home with us. Elen, Siva, Elen, thank you for giving us some last words that we can think about as we leave to the Clear Estate crematorium. I'd like to please ask, if you have not paid your final respects, to please do so that you can allow the family a few minutes with Uncle Siva.
Sode Tiruvayal Embo Sodi Om Siva. My humble namaskar. Maybe please have the pallbearers.
Can we please ask the immediate family to come forward? We call the pallbearers to please come forward. And as we proceed to the clear state crematorium, we ask that in 2 minutes' time, the pallbearers can come. I would like to ask that you give the family family right of way as we proceed to the clear stage crematorium, and thereafter you can follow.
Come to gentlemen, could we have the call bearers, please?
Maybe all right.
Yep. Face me, face the way. It's going to be complicated.
ஓம் எல்லாம் வல்ல இறைவனை என்றும் நடந்தபடி ஜோதியாக இருப்பவரை உருவாய் வருவது சிறந்தவராய் எங்களை தந்தையும் இவற்றை எங்கள் பெற்றோர் உபாத்தியாயம் பெரியோர் முதலானவரை இதுவாக திருவள்ளுவர் மையமாக எங்களை தாங்கள் நிர்வகிக்கப்படுவோம். ஓம் ஸ்ரீ வசன் வசன் வசன். ஓம் நம சிவாய 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 ஓம் நம சிவாய
part, page 123, 3 verses.
Alhamdulillah to all the family and friends. We are now going to begin with our final prayer. And ask you to turn your own to. And while we sing,